Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Farming Simulator 19 here on the Estancia Lapacho map with me. Couple of things to talk about right off the start. Currently growing some soybeans on all my fields. I did do the corn and sunflower harvest that I talked about in my last video, which is why obviously I've got £881,000 in my account now from selling the corn and sunflowers, and I've sowed a couple of say all the fields with soybeans at the minute to get a good stockpile of those, and then I'm going to, once they're harvested, I'm going to replant the sunflower and corn again. The chickens are doing okay in my lovely little chicken coop. However, sadly, the sheep just don't work. For whatever reason, on this save game, and it's only on this save game because I've tested it on other saves, including a brand new save on this very map, putting the sheep pen in the exact same place, the sheep would only ever spawn 2 pallets of wool. So what I've done, I've sold them, I've sold the sheep, I've sold the sheep pen, and I'm going to do horses instead on this bit of land. Hopefully the horses seem to work because they don't actually produce anything, because they themselves are what you end up selling. So you don't have to worry about them spawning items to sell, because it's them themselves which you will sell once they are trained up. And should be able to keep their area nice and clean. I don't think they're terribly mucky animals. They require hay and oats to be kept. So hay and oats are what I'm going to be selling. I'm going to be growing a bit of. So it solves the, well, I wouldn't say it solves the grass problem. It means that grass is no longer needed, because obviously the sheep needed grass. So I can just, when I do my mowing jobs now, I can mow and ted and just stockpile hay. I haven't got to worry about making sure I alternate between grass and hay, unless I plan to add some other animals. And obviously down the road we plan to add maybe cows. I am thinking of maybe trying sheep again on this map, but I would have to place it on a completely different area. I don't know whether it's because of, as I say, this save game, because the fact I started this save game before any of the patches and updates were released by Giants, and whether the bug is just hard baked into the save. The pallet spawning bug is just hard coded. I don't know. But I couldn't get the sheep to spawn more than 2 pallets of wool. Tried, they just wouldn't do it. So what I've done, I've sold the as I say, sold the sheep and the pen. I've leased this truck and trailer. I've got all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pallets of wool that they did spawn. Obviously there should be 20, but hey ho. As it turns out, these fit nicely on this trailer, so I'm going to take these and sell it. Sell them to get rid of them, and then I'm going to come back and show you some of the other work I was doing whilst I was waiting to just testing the sheep. That's all I was doing, just testing the sheep. I didn't really do any work on the fields. As I did that one harvest that I talked about at the end of the last video with the corn and the sunflowers, and then as I say, I've planted soybeans. I didn't even, if I show you quickly, I didn't even bother ploughing after I harvested the corn and sunflowers, and I'm pretty sure didn't lime either. And I've not fertilised, so the soybean harvest ain't going to be great, but I figured whilst I was just basically standing around waiting for the days to pass to test the sheep, and literally all I got was 2 pallets a day, I didn't want to be doing too much. other work and getting too far ahead in the Let's Play, because I like the fact that pretty much everything I've done up to now has been in camera. I haven't really cut anything out of the series, apart from contract work, of course, because that just takes forever. But I've always showed you what contracts I've done after and completed the contracts on camera, so you can see where my money comes from. See the money coming in for the work that I've done. I just hope this sells at the spinnery wall. I don't know if I need to take it off the trailer. Spinnery's in the town. It shows you how little certainly, because I've done very little in the way of cotton harvesting, I can't remember where the spinnery is, and because I haven't done animals before yet, I haven't had to worry about selling the wool to the spinnery. I can't remember where it is. It's down here somewhere. I think here. Are these pallets going to sell? No, not. Right. This is a special trailer. This is a very special trailer. It's got a unique feature to it. Don't reverse, mate. Stay where you are. Ending off. Oh. That's not good. That's better. Slide them out. Oh. There we go. Isn't that just the best thing ever? The only thing that could possibly make this trailer even better than it is currently is if it actually auto-loaded the pallets onto it. And all pallets, not just wool, you know, eggs, seed, fertiliser, pig food, lime, anything, potatoes. Basically anything that you can put on a pallet or in a box should auto-load. Bales, you know, if he could add that script to this mod, it would be brilliant, because I love how that bed moves for unloading and positioning. There is an actual bale trailer that is very similar to this, that is just an ordinary trailer that you can pull with a tractor. And it has the same feature on it, that you can slide the bed out and up and down, but that's really to help you position the bales more accurately when you want to unload them. You don't need to do it to load them, because it auto loads. You just drive next to the pallet, the bales on the field, and they jump onto the trailer and position themselves where they need to be. And the trailer will hold 24 bales at a time. But then you can actually manipulate where they unload, which is brilliant. Because what I've been doing on, let's say, on my American Outback save, the test save, my Twitch save, is stacking them then, because I can position them. They're in, like say, two rows of, they come in 2 rows of 4, and then they're stacked 3 high. So you basically, you get 24 in the bundle, and there's 8 on a layer, and there's 3 layers of bales. And what happens is that I stack them all. So then they're like, each bale is stacked 6 high. And then you have like 2 rows then of bales stacked 6 high. And then I sell, and then I just keep piling them up. Start the next lot in front of them. And get them, you know, 4 deep, 6 deep, 8 deep. But stacked 6 high. You build up an impressive little stack of them. Right, we're over here. As you can see, I've leased another truck and a timber runner, and onto it I've placed a lot of these palm trees that I've been cutting down. I've cut down quite a few in this area using this little skid loader that I have on lease with this lovely attachment here for the skid loader, because I found another issue that this map has, or something that Giants have massively overlooked in the game prior to releasing this map as a mod hub download. The forestry equipment in the store, all this stuff, so Ponce Buffalo, the HR46X, the Komatsu and the Scorpion King, none of those vehicles can cut down these trees, these palm trees. You bring them in, you try to grab them and cut them, and it tells you this tree type is not supported or something like that. So it was a case of either chop them down by hand using the chainsaw or lease this thing. And I decided to lease this bad boy. It makes more sense. And I was actually able to take out a few of the little trees as well. The ones that are like sunk in the ground. The ones that are above the ground, like this one here. And the other ones that are everywhere, like these ones. You can't cut those for whatever reason. You have to do these with the chainsaw, because that doesn't. It'll do the ones that are embedded and implanted in the ground. I think I missed a log over here, maybe, or it's a little tree. I think it's just a little bit of a tree here. I've got all the big logs. And they're on this thing here. I've already delivered 1 load of wood and got 46,000 doing so, which is not bad. I think technically these are a bit too long for the sawmill. If I chopped them up in hot, maybe halved them again, they probably would have paid a little bit more for them, because the trees go a bit knobbly towards the top. They go a bit bendy, and that is always a thing that marks you down at the sawmill when selling wood, if the logs are not straight. But we're going to get these sold, get them to the sawmill, drop the bomb, make some money, return all the leased equipment, and then see where things stand. As I say, I've chopped down a few trees. I didn't do... I know I talked in a previous video about doing that whole field in front of field 29 and between field 29 and the main road up to the shop, but with the not being able to use the Scorpion King or something for that just means that it's too much of a faff about. It is honestly too much of a faff. Sawing them down and then trying to get them on the trailer. I did have some other thoughts about how I could possibly do it. Leased items, return. Or returned. No more costs. I did have an idea how to do the rest of the trees. I thought about possibly get out and have a have a trip over there, shall we? Maybe take a horse for a ride over there as well. We've got horses. Because it's awkward. It's awkward cutting the trees down, and whee! So as I say, it's awkward cutting the trees down with that little skid loader, and then trying to pick them up then to place them on the onto the truck is another thing that's just a bit of a pain in the backside. And then obviously having to cart them is another issue. So I was thinking, if I was to clear this whole area of trees, the best way to do it would be to pick a spot somewhere in the middle, some equidistant spot. So if the shop's there, probably something in this area, I think, would be good. Right here, around here, and putting down the wood chipper, and basically just cutting the trees down and feeding them into the wood chipper as they are, because the wood chipper sells them instantly, sells the wood chips instantly, so you get money straight away, and just basically go through, and then I'm only having to pick them up once. I pick them up, put them in the wood chipper. They're done, and then I can work on my plan, although it's not really so critical anymore because of the sheep situation, where I was going to plough all this area and sow grass on it and just have it as a huge grass making factory. I mean, I suppose I could still do it for silage. I'm going to need it for like pigs and cows maybe down the road, but it's going to be a bit more difficult, I think. It's not quite as critical to do it now. When I had the sheep, it was going to be a case of I was going to have to make some inroads into this because the situation whereby we needed grass for the sheep, to feed the sheep, plus we needed hay, and only having the one field at the moment where I'm growing grass meant that, like I say, I was having to alternate production, wasn't I? I was having to do it, alternating between horse. You. I think I'm supposed to clean the horses after I've rid of them. I honestly don't know. That's Frosty, that's not Waldo. Cricket. Freckles. I didn't name these, by the way. The game did. Daisy. Clean Waldo. Yes, Waldo needs a clean. Waldo's clean. There we go. I realised now as well, because these don't actually produce anything like the sheep, cows, pigs, chickens, and they don't actually, the horses don't actually reproduce either like the other animals, so it doesn't actually matter about making sure that they're all the same species and same colour variation to obviously keep the numbers up, the reproduction rate high, and you know, the production rate's high. So what I could have done was bought all different coloured horses and styles, because it wouldn't have made any difference. So once I've got all these trained up and then we've got them sold, I will remember in future to buy different horses. So there is actually some variety in the pen, because at the moment they're all the same breed of horse and it looks a bit boring. But that's where we're at, and unfortunately, ooh, These may now be ready to harvest, are they? Ready to harvest. Okay, I know what I'm going to do then. For the remainder of today, it is now nearly 3 PM in game, I'm going to get these harvested. And then I'm going to get them reseeded. And taken care of. And as I say, I'm going to get the corn and sunflowers replanted. This last strip will take longer to mature than the rest, because this is a bit that the seeder wouldn't seed. He kept stopping short on that bit over there. And that's the Amazon seeder, not the big one on the big bud. So I don't know why the helper has issues doing this bit on the Amazon, unless it's something to do with not wanting to drive. I mean, this I have smoothed out as well since the last video, because it was a bit hilly, wasn't it? There was like a couple of steps, and I've tried to make it just one and level it all off and smooth it all off really nice. I think I've even accidentally moved this edge back a bit doing that. But anyway, I'm going to go get the harvest done, and then I'll bring you guys back hopefully when we're ready to do the corn and sunflower harvest, because that's where I was kind of hoping to have continued from the last video, but I needed to test those sheep because they weren't working properly. So I'll bring you guys back in a little while. So as I wait for my corn and sunflowers to grow, I've got 3 fields with corn and the big field with sunflowers. I have bought field 7 and 8. We now own good little area all the way up to the lime station we own. That's good. And we've got canola growing there. Don't think it's been fertilised. Don't think Mate's fertilised it. And we've got some sunflowers over here, which are ready to harvest, but obviously it's pointless doing it now, because we might as well get them when these are ready to harvest. So, it's going to be probably another day before they're ready to harvest, I think. Yeah. And then we need to do some serious ploughing, lime spreading and all that jazz, because I've still not done it. Did get 200,000 soybeans out of my soybean harvest, which means my silo is full of soybeans. How are we doing on the equipment front? Anything looking drastic? It looks pretty healthy. Also, we spent a bit of money today on fields. How's the animals doing? The chickens, we're now at 85 chickens. Wow, they reproduce every 3 hours. Although by the looks of this, we do need to get them some more food. The horses are doing alright. They're increasing in value steadily. Might do some contract work while we wait. Field 29 needs fertilising. I'll accept that. Purely because I know we've got a spreader somewhere. Right, actually, this will be ideal. Let's start the engine. For a start, let's pick this up. Let's clean up the chicken coop. These mucky chickens keep throwing their wheat all over the floor. Mm. That was a good one, as they say in the trade. Lower the bucket. Detach. Right, Mr. Valtteri, I'm going to give you some fuel. You're looking a bit low. You're also looking a bit mucky. But I will probably spray you after we've done the fertiliser job. Full. Pickle power expansion tank. Clunk. Pick up our actual sprayer. I would if I could reverse. He's got enough. He's got enough to be doing field 29. Don't you worry. He should be able to turn around quite well as well on this field, because he's not going to have the problem of trees. Haven't got rid of the stumps yet, haven't got round to doing that. That'll be a job for another day. Fertilise this field. Come on, Mr. Spreader Man. Locked, loaded. Let's do this. Get a worker hired. You can do this job. I have every faith in you. This will be contract job number 99. We'll be one away then from an achievement. One away from reaching 100 contracts on a single save. And at that point, I will probably not do another contract ever again. Purely and simply because now I own basically 9 fields. It's going to be too much. I'm going to have far too much to do myself. But, where are you going? No. No. Who is this fucking driver? Seriously, the AI in this game has gotten so much worse since the last update, and they were supposed to be making them better and more practical, more functional. But I honestly don't see it. On field 6 over there, I started the worker in this bottom corner and had him working, you know, westerly. He did one full row and then reversed. Halfway back down the row he's just done, turned around and then started ploughing back to the world. It's like he's missed half the field. But then he did every other row fine. It was just this one strip he decided to just start halfway in the middle of the field. And I'm like, I don't understand why he's done that. And he's missing a strip right at the beginning of the field. Should be able to turn around. They should know that they can. I wonder if it's the stumps, you know, the tree stumps. They still see that as being an object that they can't navigate. It would be weird if it was, but I have noticed it on another save. On another, where I tested the sheep, I loaded up I'd basically incorporated the height map from this map into it, so the land was all the same level and everything, so that's, you know, the fairest way to do the test. And I noticed at the bottom of field 2, the vehicles stop well short of the field to turn around, even though there's no trees there. You know, and they've got room to turn. My vehicles turn around properly now at the bottom of field 2. They don't stop short anymore since I've levelled out the land and everything. So that I was quite impressed with. But on another save, they don't. They still stop short. And I wonder if it's because the AI kind of detects the trees that are below the ground and thinks they're an object, even though it can drive over them because they're not physically in front of it. The only way to really test that theory out would be on that other save for me to flatten the land to expose the trees, remove the trees, and then raise the land back up. Because there's got to be a reason why he stops here and then turns instead of just driving off the field, because he's got room to turn around now. Not going to hit anything. There's no trees there for him to hit. Lever working. So yeah, we're growing a lot of chickens. Our chickens are reproducing, well, astronomically. Every 3 hours we're getting a new chicken. Look how many boxes of eggs we've got. So many eggs. I'm gonna have to find a way to load them onto something so I can sell them at some point. Hello, chickens! But I'll wait for the game to tell me there's no more room for pallets for eggs, and then I know we've got all full boxes. And our horses, they do a grand job. Loving life, they are. They don't actually make a mess. Horses do not have cleanliness like the other animals. They don't make a mess with their food. So, just fill it up with a bit of hay and a few oats every now and then. Chuck them a bit of water. Throw in a bit of fresh straw. Maintenance, you know, low maintenance horses are. And as I say, they're going to be worth, you know, £50,000 a piece when they're fully raised up. We've got 3 new fields, which is great stuff. What other things am I planning to do? What are my next expansion plans? Well, go down here. What I'm thinking of doing is buying field 15 next. That would be my next plan, and ultimately then 13, but I want to get 15, then I can basically extend 14 and 15 into one field and get, I still plan to just put grass on it. Actually, I've decided I'm just going to sow grass on this field. It's a big field and people say that's a waste of space just having grass on it. But then what I plan to do, maybe in this area down here, put in my silos for me to do my silage and stuff. Or I may even chuck down a sheep pen. I know that sounds crazy, chucking the sheep, but they don't work. I'm willing to have another go at the sheep over here to see if putting them on this bit of land lets them spawn their pallets properly. Or, failing that, it might be a bit too far away, one might think, from the house, so I could chuck the sheep down on the field 14, the smaller of the fields, the one I've been using for grass currently. It would keep it closer to the farm for getting things like water and food from the loft. So yeah, I could chuck the sheep pen down on here, see how it goes. Leave the rest of it still mowable, of course. It would give us room to ponder, wouldn't it? See whether chucking it on there would fix the issue. I'm also thinking possibly of expanding our grain silo, dropping in an extension here, give us a bit more storage capacity, because as I say, I've maxed out on soybeans. I've got 200 soybeans in the silo, and that's the maximum we can have of a crop. 100,000 litres. We're getting close on wheat. We've got 153,000. Barley's up there at 98. Starting to get maxed out on a few of the crops. And anything over 200,000 has to be sold, because I can't store it. Messy bit of straw there. Who's making a mess on my farm? Well, it's fallen off the combine or something, maybe. But that's where we're at. It's a little bit shorter this video than normal, because obviously I've had to do some significant changes to the farm to cope with the loss of the sheep. In a mess again already. Bad chickens. But we've got horses now, so we'll see how things go. And as I say, got 3 corn harvest to bring in the next video. Definitely will be the next video, and which will obviously be tomorrow in game. Today there's not going to be a lot happening on the farm, and then we've got some work to do. Once we've harvested these fields, obviously we've got to get the plough out. I'm going to have to get the lime spreader back out to get these fields back up to snuff. We're going to have to use some fertiliser, because I haven't used fertiliser on any of these. Not been using fertiliser while I've been testing other things on the save, so I'm not getting the most yield from these fields. But hey ho, we've got to test these things, unfortunately, like the sheep, because if they're not going to work for us and they're not working properly, then they need to be got rid of quick before they lose too much value. Whilst I've still got a receipt that's valid for them, shall we say. And we've got canola there. So we'll get all these harvested. Then obviously, whilst I've got the plough out, field 7 and 8 I'll join together. Join field 7 and 8. I'll get rid of this bit in the middle. I'll probably get the quality disc out as well. Take out, this is fairly wide now. Might just extend these fields this way a bit to help get rid of some of these freaking horrible bushes. And sow some, like I did over here, plant the grass. Plant the grass, let it grow, roll it in with a roller. Do the headland as well, get rid of the bushes here. For a good the vehicles, especially the sprayers, have got plenty of room to turn around. That's going to be crucial. Yeah, I'll get that trimmed out. Down this side, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Again, probably take out the bushes and just plant a regular grass path, I would think. Same down here, because what I would like to do is get rid of maybe a little bit of this where it bends in. I don't like that. Try and effectively, I'm going to lose a bit off the edge of the field, I would think, by making this basically a straight edge straight up. So I'll lose everything to the left. By extending the field, maybe bringing it down a bit more, I could do. That really depends on how field 1 fits into the master plan, doesn't it? Field 1 over here. That tree's going to be in the way. And of course, because I've expanded field 1, so we may not be able to bring field 8. I could probably take the bushes out and then just replant the grass, but we're not going to be able to go too far with field 8. We're going to need to have room for the vehicles coming off here to turn round. Now, why is that voucher stopped? I don't for a minute. I don't for a minute buy that she's fertilised that whole field, and she hasn't. What a flipping liability, woman. Only done half a job. Don't employ her again. Don't employ her ever again. I bet she's done a real bad job as well round the top of the field. Well, not that we have to worry, because apparently the contract is complete. We have now reached the point. A very good point. He started stopping further and further back the further he got down here, which... Again, maybe it's the tree stumps. I just need to level the ground out a bit more. Really, no. Right, let's see what mess she's made everywhere else on this field. I know technically the contract's complete, but I would like to make sure it's properly complete. There's a bit of barley that was oversowed from my field that she's not took care of. That's rather funny. I'm going to do this bit, and then I'm going to go back and do that nice long bit down there. I'm going to do 100 contracts. I ought to take a bit of pride that these are going to be the last ones. I think the train's broke down, so I don't have to worry about getting run over. I think we'll get most of this. Probably only a few bits she missed. This field's field 29. It's a nice big field, but it is weirdly shaped. It does make it a bit awkward, and I don't yet have a plan of how to fix that awkwardness about it without losing way more land than I can afford to if I was to buy it. You would have to shorten it so much. Pretty much take out all this skinny bit down here. This little straight edge coming up on the bottom of the field. You'd have to take all that out and put a new straight edging up to the top of the field. Right, that's done. Thank you. Got one more job to do to hit the big 30. Field 30's close. Field 27's close too. Field 27 would require less work. Like I say, yeah, see, all this bit along here is rubbish. So you'd need to get the roller out and put a nute and go straight up there and basically lose all that land to the right. And then it's going to have a wonky edge on this side then. Because then it's going to be at a funny angle going all the way up there. And angles really don't work well in this game. Really don't work very well at all. Field 28's a little field. He's growing grass on his little field, is he? I've never really noticed field 28 before. Never really paid it much attention. Well, I suppose you're not really going to grow out else on it, are you? Field that small. If I bought that, I'd probably leave it as grass as well. Or chuck another horse pen or something on it. I don't know. This should be field 27. We should be allowed to spray this, because I've just took the contract. Sprayer's going to bounce around all over the place because of the furrows. Can't tell whether he's growing potatoes or sugar beet at this stage. I'll tell you what, now I've got a few more fields under my my belt, I may look at going into the business of doing root crops for myself. We're going to need it. We're going to need to do it, especially if we want to get into pigs, because pigs require potatoes and sugar beet for food. Unless I wanted to skip over all that and just buy bags of pig food, which I probably could do, based on the fact that obviously our horses are going to be so profitable. I could literally buy food for all the animals and never actually have to farm it. But with obviously with gaining the piggies, we would then get obviously manure and slurry, which we can use either to fertilise our fields for free, so we're not having to pay for fertiliser. I hit another tree here, aren't I? Every time. Why headlands are very important to stop you crashing into things. This should be our 100th contract. Should get an achievement for this. Whilst we're waiting for stuff to grow and become harvestable. I think I might as well do this quick just to pad out this episode, make it a little bit longer. I also realise now, in this episode as well, that my great master plan of buying that additional tank was a complete waste of time, because it doesn't actually work with this sprayer. In fact, that additional tank only works with one sprayer in the game, the tiny little one that you would never ever buy. It doesn't actually add to the capacity, well, it adds to the capacity of fertiliser I'm carrying, but when the actual sprayer runs out, it can't draw from the expansion tank because there is no pipes. There are no pipes or hoses connecting that to the back one. So, unfortunately, come on. Oh yeah, buying that, it looks good on the tractor. It has absolutely zero functionality though. If I wanted to increase the capacity of my sprayer, I would have to go into the XML file in the mod zip file and edit the value in there. Which is great, it's something you can do with the Stevie mods, it's relatively easy to do, but if I wanted to give the actually see my tank expansion actually work properly in game, and then it would tell me I've got 9,000 litres of fertiliser on the tractor, but I'd still only have access to 7,500, and there's our achievement, legendary aid. We've done it, 100 contracts completed. That's it. Been fun. It's been an experience, but I'm probably never going to work for any of you again because I'm getting too big. My farm's grown too much, and it's getting to the point where I'm going to have too much to do, turning around, like I say, 9 fields of my own, with plans to add up 10 and 11 in very short turn. And then possibly 9, 11, 10 and 12, and then I'll have this whole middle bit of the map. Not too worried about... Wow, there's a lot of people growing cotton, I've noticed. That's something I don't do. Will I consider it going forward? Maybe once I've got more access to more fields and I can dedicate one. It depends on... There is apparently going to be an update, another update from Giants to the game pretty soon. That's going to fix some of the prices, and one of the things they're going to do is boost the value of cotton to actually make it, you know, worth your time doing. They're going to make that one of the most expensive crops, I think, in game is the plan that they're talking about, to actually make it, you know, selling it where, you know, give you something. So if you do cotton harvest and dedicate the time and the machinery, and it will make you a profit in the long term once you've took out the initial expenditure of getting the machinery and equipment and everything set up. So when that update drops, that's when I might consider doing cotton. If of course it works with the save. As we've now discovered, this save game still has some of the initial problems baked into it, even though we've had an update and we've had patches and we've had fixes. Unfortunately, some of them cannot be rectified. Once they're in the save, they're in the save. Like I say, I could not get the sheep to work for me. I might need to go get some food for the chickens. Park you in here next to that. Chickens, 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 chickens. Let's go quickly grab them. How much they need. Not going to need a lot. Where again, maybe having a wheel loader at this point in the game with a bucket would be quite useful. With its big 20,000 litre bucket. Oh wow, this little tractor can pull this big trailer. Of course it can, it's empty. It won't if it had its full 150,000 litres or whatever in it. Not going to take a lot, 3,000 should be enough. More than enough to fill that back up. That fork. Whoa! That sometimes happens. The thing just takes off on its own. Okay, here's the thing. I unload this. We've now got a prop on the floor that I can't scoop up and dump in the silo. Because it's going to be full and there's going to be crop on the floor. And that will have to be dumped back into the grain storage. And I wonder if I've just dropped that off at... And because it's tilted back, it might not allow me to pick it up next time I need it. Wind up. Say the horse is pretty taken care of. Pop out. So yeah, I've just filled that up, but obviously there's that bit there I could have tipped in there first. But they've got 4,000 litres of corn. That's alright. 1 litre of eggs, is that all they're producing? Horses are alright, don't need any food just yet. Don't need any straw or water. Again, as I say, they are pretty maintenance free. There we go. That's been today's video here on the farm. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry there's not been a bit more action and adventure, but you know, we had an issue to deal with at the start of the video and trying to put a recovery plan in place. As I say, normal service will resume in the next video when we will definitely be harvesting and starting some serious work on our fields. So thank you all for watching. You've been a great audience as ever, and I'll see you all again very soon with another video.